Welcome everyone, Christine here with a discussion about Total War Warhammer 3, Immortal, Empires, and Realms of Chaos to talk about patch 5.0 and a change that Creative Assembly has made that may seem small at first glance, but actually has gigantic consequences in terms of how you play a campaign, especially someone like Scarbrand, and that's the reason I'm showing him here. In Realms of Chaos, it's going to be easier for me to showcase things in Realms of Chaos than Immortal Empires, just the in-turn timer. So, here's what's going on. Right now, I am losing money because that's how Scarbrand plays his campaign. Like, you don't really have an economy, so you rely on sacking settlements, looting settlements, post-battle loot in general, right? This Blood Host is going to start taking damage over here after one turn. This one has 3 turns, but it's already damaged because it's fought some enemies. Now, the way it works right now in the live version of the game, and I've checked, is that if you end the turn and you're going bankrupt, your units will take attrition. Here's what's changed. So let's say I start building this tier 3 provincial capital settlement. What you'll notice is that Scarbrand, and not just Scarbrand, but all of my forces, are now in a situation where they are showing as taking attrition. And I believe that the reason CA did this is because they wanted to show players when they're ending a turn, hey, you're gonna take attrition if you don't do something about it, right? Like switch to encamp stance, that kind of stuff. I believe the underway stance also works. So that's fine, you know, just an indication of something that was already going to happen. But here's the kicker. Let's say I cancel this structure right here in the Rune City. I am not going to go bankrupt next turn. But what's going to happen is that I am still going to take attrition damage because in 2 turns I am going to go bankrupt. So if I end the turn, I put these armies, let's say in a camp stance, these guys probably are going to take attrition damage anyway. So if I end this particular turn right here, again, not going bankrupt, the icon is not showing. Here's what's going to happen. Let's take a look. So we can now look at this army. They haven't taken damage. These guys haven't taken damage as well. Right now, the Blood Host mechanic has kicked in. So if I just go over here, you know, the Blood Host situation is going to resolve itself. Get those skulls. But, and keep in mind, right now, solve the financial issues, so should be fine, right? But Scarbrand's army, as you can notice it, especially if I just build something right here, Scarbrand's army has taken attrition damage over here. So CA made a change to highlight when you're going to take damage on an intern because you're going bankrupt, and either because of the scripting or because they intended it to, pretty sure it's a bug. Like, it's probably not intended to, right? You wouldn't make a change to highlight something that's going to happen, then, you know, as a player, you solve the problem, and then, you know, it still happens, right? That's not how that's supposed to work, I think. But yeah, let's say, you know, we fight this particular battle. Forget the Furies, who cares? Right? So, economic problems fixed, right? But, you know, if I start constructing these 2 settlements right here, again, I'm far away from bankruptcy over there. But if I leave Scarbrand right here, hell, I'll even leave the Blood Host here. Like you can see over here, none of them are supposed to take damage, and I end the turn. Forget that Daniel is moving. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, you press this button right here, so you know you fast forward through AI movements, and let's see what happens here on the end turn. That my army moved in. Ignored that quest battle, and I've taken more attrition damage. So that's the change. Basically, if you're in a situation in the campaign where you're going to go bankrupt 2 turns ahead, you will take attrition damage. Now, one turn ahead, as it currently is, like if next, like as it currently is and live, you will only take damage when you're about to go bankrupt, or when you are going bankrupt. Now you will take damage 2 turns away, 2 turns before you are actually bankrupt. And it's because of CA's decision right here to add this indicator that you're going to go bankrupt. So again, it's like I'm fairly certain this is bug. This is not intended. They did not want to make this change. So, you know, I could put Scarbrand in a... So if I leave, you know, these guys over here, they're not supposed to take attrition damage. I put Scarbrand in a camp stance. Just in case people are wondering, oh, is it just something, you know, that's affecting him, or is it, and it's not affecting the Bloodhost? No, it's affecting... you can avoid it with camp stance, which, you know, is now problems for Scarbrand. So maybe... Or never mind, because we solved the problem there. Yeah, that's something that does happen sometimes. So I'm going to need to end another turn right here. Wow. Let's just say 1 unit recruited, right? Because I got attacked there. So yeah, look at these guys right now. This army is taking a bit of attrition damage because it's obviously, you know, it's bloodletting. It's about to expire. But I'm not supposed to go bankrupt right now. And yet, I will. By the way, let's teleport to Nakari, because that's fun, isn't it? So yeah, cancel 1 unit, by the way. Not showing any indication that I'll take any kind of damage right here. Actually, I'll put this army in a camp stance. Scarbrand then in camp stance. Natural, like, Nakari is just AFKing right here, I think. Like, he's basically, or they have basically done nothing in this particular campaign. And Scarbrand didn't take damage. This army did take damage. This army didn't take damage. So, pretty sure it's a bug. And I'm doing this video to highlight it to CA. I did mention it to Red already, but I imagine they've got a lot of things. That's why they didn't necessarily notice. So, how do I feel about this? Like, you know, it's a bug. Clearly, it should be fixed. Question is, should it? That's a real question there about it. Like, should this in particular be fixed? Because the reason I say that is because while it's clearly an unintentional change, maybe it would be for the better if CA didn't necessarily fix it. Although I'm not sure how to feel about all of this. Like, obviously, you know, they added an attrition indicator and it's not quite working correctly. So, yeah, that aspect should probably be fixed. But would it be such a horrible thing to punish players that are clearly taking advantage of various game mechanics when they should be bankrupt, but they're not, but they're just staying ahead 1 turn from that bankruptcy and abusing the game really to keep themselves in it. I mention that because now, given diplomacy in particular, you can certainly take advantage of various diplomatic actions. You can cheese the game in a lot of ways, and I imagine a way that CA never intended the game to be played as. But you can certainly take advantage of things right now in the game to absolutely push yourself to the limit. Because as long as you're not taking attrition damage until you are actually bankrupt, yeah, this is not the highest difficulty, by the way, of the game. But as long as you're not taking attrition damage, because when you're not really bankrupt, but you're, you know, basically your economy is going there, but you're relying on post-battle loot, you don't have more than enough money for 1 turn, then that allows a lot of cheesy play styles to take place. Maybe that's fine, but maybe there is the potential of a campaign being, you know, a bit more interesting, if you will, if we got punished for pushing things too aggressively. Hyper-aggressiveness, you know, people complain about that all the time, but it is genuinely the best way to play in a lot of ways. So maybe, you know, so maybe that would be something CA does decide to change with the game. Now, of course, the way they did it is, or rather the way it's happening right now, is clearly not working as intended. Not only because they added an indicator that's supposed to show you when you take attrition damage, that's obviously not working properly at all, but also the fact that this only starts triggering after you reach that first time. Like, it will only start really working like this, where you're taking damage if you don't have enough income to last you 2 turns. That will only happen when you first, like, reach the red, if you will. Like, so the first time that you've reached a point, let me just try and bring that up. So the first time you reach a point in your campaign where, you know, where this will trigger, that's the first time that you're gonna take damage for not having enough income for two turns. That's the first point. So, like, you know, like this. Like, this is, like, once you start seeing the skull over here, the red skull, that's when that's gonna start kicking in. Before that, like, before you actually get to a point where in 1 turn that's showing you, you will be fine only having income for 1 turn, but not 2 turns. So yeah, that's clearly a bug. But there might be, you know, some benefits in a sense, CA basically ending the cheese, the constant cheese, or some of the cheese that's been happening. Because if you will take attrition, then that changes so many things in the way you play campaigns. Like, obviously it would affect someone like Scarbrand in a far more substantial way than, you know, someone like the Dwarves or Empire or anything like that. But it does affect those campaigns as well. Because it means you can afford more armies, it means you can do more crazy stuff in your campaign that you wouldn't be able to otherwise do in other circumstances. So that's what's happening. We'll see what CA does this. This may very well be fixed before launch. Maybe they're even aware of it and are fixing it. Keep in mind, there's been plenty of updates already in this pre-launch version. Pretty sure there's going to be updates on the launch version compared to this one. So bear in mind, what you're seeing here may not enter the final product, but I did think it was worth highlighting. Not just because it's a bug, but because of the possibilities that this could completely shift the campaign meta as it has existed since the launch of Warhammer 3. Stay tuned for more.